Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to my channel. We're going to be talking, and just like that, episode 9. Subscribe to my channel first here on the tubes. Push the join button next to the subscription button. Become a member today. Gain access to extra perks. You can also join me on Patreon. Superdacob, all spelled together there as well. Thank you to all my members and patrons who have already pledged. This video is being filmed live in front of a virtual audience. Q in the audience. I live stream every Saturday. Everybody's welcome to join. Is Carrie Bradshaw already deleting her own comments? And just like that, we learned how to insert a tampon. Oh, there you go. And there you go. And just like that, episode 9 was over, and we're just one episode away from the end of season 1 of And Just Like That, or as we call it, AJLT. Oh, you best believe AJLT. So, you guys, where to begin? Whew, it's a bit hot in the fashion bunker today. Where to begin? Well, first of all, I can't get this out of my head. Okay, let's just touch base on this for a second. Like this Che moment, the Che moment, right? First of all, we have the explanation in episode 1 or 2. Some people have been like commenting under my videos, what is this hair doing? This is not a good hair moment. I have been commenting under my videos saying like, oh, why do they give the character Che the Che name? Che Guevara was like infamously against gay people and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, first of all, they explained it in episode 1 or 2. It's not because of Che Guevara. It's because of other reasons. Second of all, you know, do your research. But we have an issue with Che because a lot of people, mostly chicks of a certain age, don't like Che. And every time, and I kept saying this for the longest time, I kept saying this from the get-go, really. If you go back and watch my older videos on this, it's about this, oh, well, transgender. No, it's not that the character is transgender. It's that we just don't think that the actress or that they are portraying the character properly. It's about the writing. It has nothing to do with the transgender, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, I don't buy it. I think there's more to it. In fact, I have found an article, from what is it? I do not know. Which newspaper? Page 6 of something. Leah Delaria. Oh, thank you for subscribing. Yeah, it's more down. It's page 6. Oh, no, it is from page 6. Yeah, page 6 article. Leah Delaria says, and just like that, audience has a problem with non-binary people. Now, Leah Delaria is a comedian / actor. Again, pronouns and me, we're not friends. But so anyway, listen to this. Leah Delaria thinks. Okay, so they're describing Leah as she. Okay, so Leah Delaria thinks she knows why Che Diaz from And Just Like That is on the receiving end of so much vitriol. People have a real problem with non-gender conforming individuals, always have, but hopefully always won't. The performer, 63 years old, told Page 6 in a recent interview and said, I think the show appeals to a certain generation of people who have issues. She continued, I don't think it's the show's fault. I think it's the audience's fault. Delaria added that it's pretty much how I've been treated my whole life. Any drag queen can talk to you at length about this and how black trans people just have a target on their back in our society. Last week, Delaria even posted a short tongue-in-cheek public service announcement video on Instagram saying, I just want to put it out there, I'm not Che Diaz. Cynthia Nixon, who plays Diaz's love interest on the show, cheekily commented, you are in my heart. Delaria says ever since Sarah Ramirez, who plays stand-up comedic Che Diaz on And Just Like That, switched up their look and came out as non-binary, the two have been compared to each other a lot. She's also jokingly compared herself to Drew Carey, Korean despot Kim Jong-il, and Carl Fredricksen from the Pixar movie Up. Accomplished singer Delaria will be performing, and then Joe Pubs on Valentine's Day, but don't expect the orange is the new black favorite to fill the show with romantic love songs. Thank you for the super chat, Jesse. I'm going to pop your cherry in just a second.
$4.99 super chat from Jesse Johnson.
And let me pop your cherry first. Thank you so much, Jesse. You get a Super Dacob Golden Cherry, which we're going to pop now. Whoa, we got it. Thank you so much, sweetie. How's it going? Hey, Jesse. Thank you so much. So there's that. Now, this is, I agree. Quite frankly, it is something that our society is not so used to seeing on such a vast scale, becoming a mass-released product. Like Sex and the City is a mass-released TV show, and just like that is also mass-released. And then on this mass-released scale, to have a non-binary character in there. First of all, I don't think Sarah Ramirez is a bad actor. I think they are really good at what they're doing. I think the character is quite complex. And there are some cliches that the character is dealt. But we're talking Sex and the City, you guys. Every single one of the characters in Sex and the City are dealt cliche cards. Each and every one of them are. Not just Che. But the problem with Che is that the problem that people have with Che is that, well, that Che is non-binary, you know. And a lot of these people who are bigoted and of a certain age, they just can't handle that. And then when you call them out, they're going to be like, they always tell you the same thing. Oh no, it's not because the person is non-binary. No. It's the way the character is written. It's the way the character is portrayed. It's the way the character is acted. Like 1,001 excuses, but none of them, not one single person out there admitted that they have an issue with it being a non-binary character. And here they're being called out by this actor on it. And I agree. Now, we can all have our opinions and we can all have our personal tastes and preferences. And, somebody could tell you Baby Yoda is super cute. Somebody else can tell you Baby Yoda is like an ugly, weird alien, not cute. Fine, it's your opinion. So you can also say you like the way Che looks. You could also say, I really don't like the way Che looks. That's all good. But let's be very clear on the fact that it is quite new still for mass stream media to have such a non-binary character represented. And that definitely rocks the boat in many directions, bad and good. Now, Carrie Bradshaw says, people never gave a flying F about Steve before Che was introduced. I mean, people did care about Steve in the past, but I think less than they do now. I think you have a point there, Carrie. I think Steve is being used very much so as the scapegoat to be able to hate on the relationship between Miranda and Che. Steve is being used as the reason why people justify their hate for Che. Oh, poor Steve. Take Steve out of the equation. If and just like that began with the first episode where they told us Miranda is no longer with Steve since 2 years. Had she been single from the get-go and had she began a relationship with a non-binary character, people would still have an issue with it. Just my opinion. Tyler says, yeah, I never saw Steve and Miranda lasting. I always felt she settled for him, to be honest. Yeah, we love Steve. I mean, he has his moments, but I also feel like Miranda, they're not the best fit. They're just not. Now, is Miranda the best fit with Che? I don't know. Do I feel the chemistry between them? Not really. But I'm willing to go on this journey to see where it takes us, you know? So where does this journey take us? Well, we are at episode 9. Title is No Strings Attached. Miranda is already separated from Steve. Some time has passed. And Miranda is telling the girls at lunch, Carrie and Charlotte, hey, ya bitches, I need you to help me paint the houses of some charity event. Some house is being, Dr. Naya is working on some project, some cultural project, something project, somewhere, Brooklyn? Somewhere in Brooklyn, I think, right? And so Carrie and Charlotte are both like, oh, can we just like pay you a check? And she's like, you're not going to be that white woman that signs a check. You're going to come and do the work. So they're throwing shade at white privilege. A white ex-lawyer throwing shade at a millionaire heiress, because Carrie Bradshaw inherited millions from Big. So we have an ex-lawyer throwing shade at a millionaire heiress and a millionaire wife, Charlotte, about white privilege. Let that sink in. So anyway, so next week they're supposed to meet up in Brooklyn and do the painting, you know. And so the whole episode revolves around that building that they're painting. By the way, never in my life have I seen people paint slower than they did. It's like literally they've been painting one spot on a wall for the whole scene while they're trying to get through their lines. And I'm like, girl, choreography, please, somebody make it look a little bit more realistic. But I mean, Carrie painting in high heels with, you know, with a hip situation and just whatever. It's a Carrie moment. But so anyway, they all meet up. And for the first time ever in episode 9, Naya gets to meet Carrie. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, they didn't meet before that? Huh, okay, wow. So finally all these characters come together. Seema is there as well. Carrie, you know, Seema wanted to go to some matinee, something with Seema invited Carrie to go to some matinee on that weekend, and then Carrie said, sorry, already committed to helping Miranda paint the walls. Then Seema says, Carrie says, but you know, I gotta pass through 3 time zones to get to Brooklyn with the subway. And then Seema says, oh, heaven forbid, I shall drive you there, darling. Okay, so Seema drives her there. So now we you know, all the chicks get to meet. LTW pops up. Naya is there, Seema is there, and then we got Charlotte, Miranda, and Carrie there as well. The only one missing is Che. But then Miranda's excuse for Che missing is that Miranda is like, I'm trying to not be too available because I don't want to come across as too desperate for Che. I've been missing me some Che. Ole. So anyway, so kind of all the girls meet for the first time. You know, all 6 of them are there together, interacting more or less. So it is a bonding moment because it's a charity event, and at a charity event, all of these privileged people, some not that privileged. Naya isn't that privileged, even though she does have a really good position in a university. She is a professor after all, but she's not that privileged like LTW is. You know, she doesn't have the privilege of arriving to the charity event in a limousine. So there's that, but let's rewind a little bit. We're going to get back to the charity event, the charity painting, as I call it, in a second. Let's go back to Miranda and Che, because Che is the only character missing in this scene where all the characters meet up together. So why is Che missing? Because towards the beginning of the episode, Miranda wants to surprise Che at home. We see that Che lives in an apartment building, some kind of like, not poor, not rich, but kind of that lower middle class, right? Which is rare given that, you know, Miranda and the girls come from money. But Miranda doesn't care about the money. And we see the same situation with her when she started dating Steve in the OG show. He had no money. Remember when she wanted him to buy that suit and he saw how expensive it was and he's like, no, I can't afford it. And she says, I'll buy it for you. And then he felt less of a man because he couldn't pay for his own suit. And then we had that teachable moment when it was like, hey, it's okay if your girlfriend or whoever you're together with buys a suit for you. You're not less of a man if you can't afford it. Money does not make the man is what they're kind of trying to sell us in that episode with the suit. But at the same time, money does make the man because all of the main characters in and just like that are rich. So, well, there's that for you. But anyway, so Miranda wants to surprise Che at home, bringing Che their favorite cookies. Che opens the door. Miranda is like, surprise! And Che's like, girl, you coulda let me know. You coulda let me know ahead of time. Was I too high? Did I forget that we have a date? And Miranda's like, no, you didn't forget. I'm just surprising you. And then Che said, yeah, I'm not good on this. Like, let me know. And then Miranda immediately jumps to conclusions and is like, oh my God, there's somebody else in here with you, isn't there? And Che's like, yeah, there is me in here. And I'm not good at improv. And I kind of laughed at that because, we were all making fun of Che not really being good at comedy. And yet Che is so famous, right? In every episode, Che is invited to some venue. And Che kind of drops shade at themselves by saying, yeah, I'm focusing on my writing, my comedy act. I'm not good at improv, so I have to prepare these things. So Miranda's like, oh my God, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be Meg Ryan. I don't want to be, oh my God, I'm leaving right now. Sorry for everything. She gets hysterical. Typical Cynthia Nixon comedic acting, which I adore, by the way. For all the people out there saying that Cynthia Nixon is acting terribly in this show, like, as opposed to how she was acting in Sex and the City, I'm like, you guys are saying this on purpose just because you want to get more views by throwing hate at the show. She's amazing. Her comedic timing is perfection in this show. She is funny. She's really, really funny. And ditzy, and she's experiencing something brand new in her life. There's like a whole new emotions running through her blood and feelings and all that stuff. And she's like a little kid and she's acting that way. And it comes across really well. Hysterical, but because she is hysterical. I mean, Miranda was always hysterical. Anyway, so I'm like, oh my God, are they going to break up now? What's going to happen now? But no, nothing happens. They have a nice little kind of on the staircase moment. They're going to see each other again. It's all good. Che says, but leave the cookies. And Miranda says, oh, hell no. I'm going to eat the cookies on my ride back home. You ain't getting the cookies. I ain't going to pull a Meg Ryan on you or on myself. What I didn't understand, prior to that scene, there was a scene with Che and Miranda in a diner on another day. And they look like kids to me. They must have been like either in their teens or in their early 20s, probably early 20s, because they talk about their friends having hooked up with Che. So I guess you have to be of age to have done that, right? So probably they were in their early 20s. So these two people kind of come up to Che while Che's eating with Miranda in the diner, and they say, oh my God, we're huge fans. Can we take a selfie with you? And then Miranda says, oh, I can take it for you. And they say, oh my God, are you famous too? And I'm like, what are these bitches? They're just like, they just want to take pictures with famous people? What the hell is that about? I thought they were fans of Che. No, but then Miranda's like, no, I'm not famous. I'm just Che's girlfriend. And I don't know why Che looked at her like weirdly. That moment I was like, wait, so Che doesn't want to be girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, non-binary friend with Miranda? Or why that weird look? So I was expecting the next time when then Miranda came to Che's apartment with the cookies, like for Che to say, hey, like you're pushing it too much. This is like too fast for me. But no, none of that happened. So I wonder why that look happened in the diner. Why did Che look at when Miranda said, no, I'm not famous, I'm just a girlfriend? Why did Che look at her so weirdly? Is it because Che maybe thinks that Miranda also is not going to end up being the girl? That Miranda is also going to become non-binary? I don't know. But, oh, Marilla says, I think girlfriend is too traditional for Che. Okay. Yeah, that could be. I can see that. Yeah. And Carrie Bradshaw says, because they hadn't confirmed the relationship situation. The sitch. Carrie, I love how, you're so Valley girl. Carrie, you're from New York, though, girl. You're not Valley girl, but, the sitch. I love it. So Madame says, they did say Dacob, Che said they are not dating, they are getting to know each other. Yeah, okay, but look at it this way, you guys. Saying that she's just a girlfriend, that could also mean she's the female friend. She identifies as female, so she could, you know what I mean? She didn't say, oh, I'm just in a committed relationship with Che. I'm not a famous person. She didn't say that. And she did say just. She didn't say, no, I'm Che's girlfriend. No, she said, oh, no, I'm not famous. I'm just the girlfriend. So it didn't come through that serious from her. I felt. Um, yeah. Oh, but they had that scene in the hallway during the fight saying, you're not my girlfriend. Oh, right, Carrie. Yeah, but then Miranda exploded and is like, what am I? What am I? You know, so that's kind of like, yeah, Jesse. Miranda's more into Che than Che's into Miranda. Maybe. 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 And Asia asks what happened in Cleveland. This is a good question, Asia. I was thinking when last episode ended, right? And Miranda was going to fly off to Cleveland to surprise Che. I was like, ooh, you know, she's going to surprise Che. And there's going to be something going on over there with Che and somebody else. But no, it was a red herring. It was a complete red herring. Like the writers just wrote that in and there was no payoff for it. So that was a little bit bizarre. But I'm glad that it wasn't such a cliche, you know, like, oh, okay, yeah, now I finally I've decided to spend, to, you know, quit my marriage and everything for you, and I fly off to Cleveland and boom, wah, 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 Che doesn't really care. No, they didn't do that. So at least that was a surprise for me that they didn't go there. It was the expected route. It was what I thought was going to happen, but it didn't. So I am pleasantly surprised that that didn't happen. Okay. Now, before we go back to the bonding moment, the charity house, let's go to another house, the house of Charlotte. And Charlotte's downstairs periphery. Lily's and Charlotte's. So Anthony has a new boyfriend, and the new boyfriend has been invited to dinner with Anthony to Charlotte's and Harry's house. However, we find out that Lily has her period and she doesn't want to use tampons, but since her next period is due when her bestie has a pool party, she doesn't know what to do. Now she needs a tampon and she needs to learn how to use it, and she's hysterical. Am I the only person? I mean, I'm fine with every character except Lily. I find Lily so obnoxious, so irritating, so annoying. I know it's bad to find a kid obnoxious, but I can't. I cannot stand her guts. She is so irritating, hysterical. She's like a chihuahua. I know I have a lot of friends who have chihuahuas. Nothing against your chihuahua dogs, but she's like this hysterical mutt that keeps like constantly. Oh my God. And then, you know, it's so rude. Because it's dinner time and she's like, Mom, okay, teach me now how to put a tampon in. It's either now or never, you know. And then Charlotte is like, oh my God, can it wait? No, I'm going to change my mind and then I'm never going to do it. And you got to do it now. And then they spend like an hour in the bathroom. That scene didn't play out very well for me. It felt like the writers tried to make it comedic. It just wasn't comedic. And I think the problem is Lily. Again, the actress, or how they told her to act the scene, she's just too unlikable. She's hysterically electric. She's constantly, and you're just like, ugh, just stop it. Because Charlotte, in fact, even Charlotte ran away from her. Like, she shut herself in the bathtub. At one point, she's like sitting in the bathtub with a curtain drawn, and she's kind of like, breathe in, envision melting butter. And the second she told me that, I was like, oh my God, melting butter, having it all over your skin, it smells so bad. No, it didn't calm me down at all. But anyway, I guess it calmed down Charlotte. So Lily, no, you know, Lily messed up a lot of things. You know, we know Lily with the phone at the wedding with Carrie and Big back in the day. Lily's concert, Carrie, you know, Big kicked the bucket while Carrie was at Lily's concert. Now Lily is messing up the dinner as well. Not that she's really messing it up, because Anthony's boyfriend, new hot, it's an opinion. Anthony's fling, you know, dropped the weird bomb the second he arrived to Harry's and Charlotte's home, saying that stuff that happened during the Second World War didn't happen. And then Anthony, that was the most funny moment of the show, I want to say, when he screamed, "Get out!" He was like, that hysterical. I know, again, it portrayed the cliche of the homosexual being a hysterical, also chihuahua, or like David Lynch would call them, chihuahua. Look up Twin Peaks for that reference, as Gordon Cole, aka David Lynch, portrays FBI agent Gordon Cole with Special Agent Dale Cooper. I digress. So, yeah, that whole dinner scene, why did we need it? How did it bring us forward? Because we have to figure out that Lily needs to start the tampon thing. However, it's about the period, isn't it? Because at the beginning of the episode, where the three girls, the ladies, the main characters, Charlotte, Miranda, and Carrie, are having lunch together, and Miranda is saying to the girls, "Come to Brooklyn to help me paint the house." The conversation veers really quickly to the period and menopause. And the fact that both Carrie and Miranda are in menopause, and Charlotte still isn't, but she thinks she is, because since a couple of weeks or months, she hasn't had her period. And so they welcome her to the club, and she says she hasn't had any hot flashes, any weird feelings, any pain, and that's that. So as Charlotte is abandoning the period, Lily is gaining the period. So there's that kind of, they're mirroring the two, I guess, generations, the mother-daughter thing, moving on, okay, yeah, I get it. But then, of course, now we go back to the charity house, and again, Lily is hysterical. Yes, Lily is also there, and Lily is just, it's all about Lily. Now her tampon is there. It's in her, but she can't find the little tab to pull it. Actually, don't these look a little bit, the little cherry popping things? So there you have it. So Lily so she can't find this, okay? And Charlotte is trying to kind of teach her how to do it. And of course they're in some weird porta potty situation, and Lily is screaming hysterically, and then Charlotte says, "That's it, I can't stand it anymore. Find your own little thing to pull. I can't anymore with y'all." Yes, Debbie, we got a visual aid today. Find your own string. I ain't gonna get done it for ya. Okay, girl? That's right, draw the line. Then Lily hysterically opens the door as Charlotte is walking away from the porta potty and says, "Mom, stop, Mom, step, Mom, step." And Charlotte's like, "No. And of course we see Charlotte, there's a reason why they dressed her in white from head to toe, so that they can point out later on that Charlotte gets her period again, and she has that big red stain at the bottom of her tush behind her. And Lily, instead of like really telling her, "Mom, you're bleeding from," no, she didn't want to scream that out loud, because she's a posh kid after all, and so we get to see it. We get to live that embarrassing moment of the red stain, and as she's walking away, and Lily didn't manage to save the situation again. Instead, she made it even worse. Again, typical Lily. Oh my God, that character, so hateable. So Charlotte goes around the corner. The girls, Miranda and Carrie see her, and Carrie covers her with this sweater or something, ties it around her waist. And Miranda explains to Charlotte, "Oh, this is like a post-menopause thing that can happen." It happened. Miranda said it happened to her as well, 2 months or 3 months after she was done with periods. It happened while she was in court, and she said it was a super embarrassing moment. And Carrie said, "Why didn't you ever tell me that?" And then Miranda said, "Because the writers didn't write it into the show 11 years ago, but I'm telling you now." So there's that moment. Blonde and Chatty says, "Definitely wouldn't want my mom there when putting a tampon in." I mean, yeah, they had that conversation about, like, Naya said she doesn't use tampons, and in her family nobody does, and everybody had like a different story of like how they dealt with their first period. So that was kind of the topic, the leitmotif of this episode. LTW comes in a limo. Dressed in Moschino, by the way. I think that safari attire that she had on, I think that's Moschino from the Spring-Summer 2021 collection. Or Fall-Winter 2021 collection. It was a collection with Dita Fontees. Dita Fontees closed that collection with the cutout heart shape on her butt. So LTW comes like with that safari outfit with little mirrors everywhere, you know, like she's going on a safari in Brooklyn. That was the joke. They ordered a car, but they didn't know that a limo would arrive. A very bar mitzvah moment. And she arrived with her kids. And of course, Naya and her guy, who are trying to have kids and keep failing. Naya doesn't really want kids. And she's like, I'm done trying. But then her dude sees LTW's husband with his 3 kids and how good he is with the kids. And he tells Naya, let's try again. And Naya's like, I don't want to. Girl, I don't want to have kids. I really don't want to have kids. And then he says, but I really do want to have kids. So maybe we should break up. That's kind of the direction that couple is going towards, where the guy wants a child and she doesn't. So we see that happening in the charity house as well. Carrie, as Carrie always is, she had to make it her own moment. You know, you had a visual aid with the string. A little cherry we're going to pop next super chat comes in. But here's another visual aid. The ring. Now, Carrie, she took Big's ring. She put it on because, well, there was supposed to be a date with Carrie and the math professor, Professor Puke, or Teacher Puke, or whatever. So they have the same rings, Carrie and Big, but Big's is bigger, obviously. So she put on Big's ring, but because it's too big, she put a Band-Aid first to create more place and then put the ring on. And so she went with Big's ring to the charity event and, you know, was painting with Steve. Steve asked her a question about, hey, Carrie, how long has Miranda been doing this with Che? I want to know, like, because I still have feelings for her. I love her. It's going to be love forever. And for some awkward reason, Carrie, oh my God, she irritates me so much. Why did she behave? You guys, did you notice this as well? Like, she's first of all standing there in the same room. They're alone in the room, Steve and Carrie, right? And Steve is very kind. He's very gentle. He's very delicate. He's speaking in a very low voice. He's not aggressive. He is the opposite of aggressive. And he's just took half a step towards her. Also because the guy doesn't hear. She got scared of him. Did you see how she reacted? She reacted like she thought he was going to beat her up. I was shocked. Like, why did she jump back from him like that? Like he's going to like slap her or something. She's so overreacted. So she stepped into the paint with her high heels and she rushes to the bathroom to clean them. And her ring flies off like, woo, bling, and falls into the sink. And then she's like, Steve, I thought you wanted to kill me, but now that I lost my ring, I need you again. Come and save me. Save my ring. Steve, me. Steve, me. Me. I know you just lost the love of your life, but Steve, me. Like, what about me? What about Jujubee? RuPaul's Drag Race reference. For those of you who know, you know. Steve, I know you lost Miranda, but what about my ring? What about my needs? What about the fact that my ring fell down the sink? Steve, help me, Steve. Get my ring out of the sink. Stop thinking about Miranda for a second. Think about me. This is about me, Steve, me. I'm Carrie Bradshaw. This show is about me. You get my ring out of that sink, out of that pee hole, yesterday. Because if you don't get me my ring back, this show ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna cancel. I'm gonna shut it all down. And so it becomes all about Carrie and her ring. And then of course Steve, of course, saves the ring, gives her back the ring. She's like, "Oh, my ring! Let me put it in my boob." And then she puts it in her boob. Weird moment. I'm like, well, like, girl, you got no boobs. You're gonna lose it. It's gonna fly out. So I'm like, you lost it. It fell off your finger. It's gonna fall under the bra as well. Like, wow, what a way to keep a ring safe. Anyway, so that was funny. So you know what I mean. And anyway, so then you know, the ring is in the boob, and then what happens then? Oh my God, a lot of shit happened in this episode, didn't it? Totally forgot. Seema's moment. Seema, right? Seema is very altruistic. She invites Carrie to go clubbing, and she tells Carrie while they're waiting in line to enter the club that it's her birthday, and she just turned 53. Of course, they don't get into the club. They don't get into the club. Carrie tries to be really nice. We just want to dance. And the guy's like, girl, you can't even dance because your hip is broken. And then Seema is like, giving him the money without looking at him. Giving him the string. Seema is like, would you like a tampon? Seema is like, I got a $20 bill attached to this tampon. If you let us in, you can have both. You can pull the string. And then he's like, ma'am, that's embarrassing. And then she's like, yeah, go, kitty. We're at capacity. That's what he meant. Let's just say that his filter was at capacity. So at that point, they left super embarrassed. They had like a little dinner together and celebrated her birthday. You know, of course, one begs to ask the question, Seema, don't your mom and dad at least know that it's your birthday? I mean, girl, I know we haven't seen any of your friends. Like, your only friend seems to be Carrie, but like, don't you have, like, wouldn't your mom and dad want to be with you on your birthday? Like, super sad, right? Anyway, so she takes Seema with her to the charity event, and Seema is like, I'm not a white woman. So to me, that whole bullcrap about white woman is not allowed to just write a check, but a white woman also has to roll the sleeves up and get dirty with it, doesn't apply. I'm just going to sit over there and I'm going to write a big fat check and we're good to go. And that's what she does. And she meets the guy from, as she's sitting there on her phone, a guy rolls up in a car. He owns the club. And he's like, why is there so much people in action and ruining the block on which my club is at? And then she's like, your club? He's like, yeah. She's like, why are you asking me? He's like, because you're sitting down and the person that sits down is the boss. She's like, yeah, yes, I would sit on that. You know, so we had a little Samantha moment, even though Seema, as I said in my other reviews, you know, Seema is more the cat while Samantha is more the dog. So it's a different type of sexuality, but there was flirtation going on. And in fact, at the end of the episode, they go to his club, to the Z club, and the Z. And I was like, zon zo it. Seema, zon zo it. But she zid it. She went with Carrie into the club. Turns out that this guy who wants to, you know, date her, was already in Sex and the City. Go figure. So it has been reported that he is the guy in the Prada shop when Carrie bought Berger a shirt. Right before he wrote her a Post-it. She gave him a Prada shirt. He gave her a Post-it. I mean, at this point, who cares? To me, Prada, Post-it, they both begin with a P. And quite frankly, I prefer the Post-it to Prada. But that's just me. So it's the same dude. You know, a couple of years more, you know, on his back, but or on his belt or under his belt, but it's him. So anywho, Seema is kind of like in the club with him. Yeah, the Gen Z club's Carrie Bradshaw. Cha, let me tell you, Cha. Talia says, even though Seema didn't want to be badgered by her family for her single status, she still could have gathered up a few friends. Maybe, right? It was a bit awkward, but kind of cute that she wanted to share that time with Carrie, so that they're telling us that they're real friends, like they're friendsies for reals. And so they enter the club because the dude is at the door. I'm like, wait, you own the club, but you're doing the door? You're the door bitch at your own club? Girl, no. So that's a flaw in the writing. If he owns the club, he's not at the door. Unless he didn't come out just to pick them up as they arrived. Seema wrote him maybe like, hey, we're here. And then he went out to get them. Then maybe, yeah. But if he's doing the guest list at the door, you don't do the guest list at the door of your own club. That just ain't it. You don't do it. Now, then they enter the club and Carrie says, and just like that, I was ready to go dancing again. Oh, and before she did that, of course, Carrie had to have another selfish moment. And the other selfish moment was like the Professor Puke was invited to go on a date with her, and then when he came to the date with her, she said, I just made you come here to tell you that I don't want to go on a date with you. So, and he's like, oh, that's okay. Yeah, lovely. Thank you for torturing me. I understand. Oh, that was my Jennifer Coolidge impersonation. Anyway, so he's like, yeah, that's okay. I'll be fine. And so he goes again, and she's like, yeah, it's just, I didn't want to tell you via phone. I wanted you to prove to me how much you care, to come all this way down here to see me, to see this piece of something that you ain't getting. And she's like, and I just wanted to let you know, this isn't about you. This is about me, darling. I'm like, yeah, of course it's about you, bitch. You made the guy come all the way to meet you so that you would tell him that you don't want to meet him. Yeah, I think he got the picture. That this is all about you. He got the memo. He got you posted, Carrie, that it's all about you. And then, of course, as Carrie does, as if all the stupid shit she did in this episode wasn't enough, she had to, of course, do another stupid thing and write him, text message him later on in the episode, be like, hey, ready for strike 3? I'm like, you're literally writing him a text message telling him you're going to ditch him again. Like, are you ready to be hurt and ditched and embarrassed again? Because if you are, I'm here for that. Begging for that. Dying for that. And that's that. So, Carrie Bradshaw in the chats. What do you have to say for yourself, Carrie? And just like that, technology once again failed us. Yeah, Carrie. Oh, wait, I was gone? Oh, was I gone? Yeah, he should ghost her. You're right, Silala. He should ghost her. Ready for an armed assassin at your dough tomorrow. XOXO. Oh, Carrie, darling. You're mixing up Sex and the City and Gossip Girl. XOXO. They just said, what with the Julia Neba and her ring? Like, no Insta post from Carrie. Oh, thank you for that note, Asia. Right. So her curly-haired younger version of herself, neighbor from downstairs, knocks at Carrie's door and says, hey, I love your podcast with Che. Here's the ring. Would you mind taking a picture with the ring on Instagram? Because if I don't start selling this jewelry, girl, I'm going to have to go back to modeling. And the life of a model, girl, let me tell you, girl, the life of a model. Donatella, Michael Kors, Pierpaolo Piccioli at Valentino, Maria Grazia Curie. Oh my God, they're so annoying, darling. I just, the first world problems, darling. I'm too lazy to jet set around the globe, darling. So please do me a favor, darling. Take a picture of you wearing this ring so I can start selling some more, so that I don't have to do that wretched model job that billions of girls dream of doing, but I'm better than that, darling. No, 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 darling. I don't want to do that, darling. So then Carrie, because she's lazy, the only idea she has of photographing the ring for her neighbor is while in line waiting to enter the club, which she didn't even enter because they told her you can't enter. And she's like, Seema, darling, can you take a picture just like of me, like casually standing here for the club, like, and let's sell the ring. And I thought to myself, okay, so if you're introducing this young chick downstairs and how is she furthering the show? How is she furthering the conversation? Like, why are we having this interaction with them? Was she there just to talk about the ring so that Carrie could put on Big's ring so that she can lose the ring so we could talk about the ring? Was there no other more intelligent way of maybe integrating the jeweler neighbor? I don't know. I mean, she's a lovely girl. She looks interesting. She was wearing underwear in that scene, by the way. It was like very like, wow, girl, yes, yes, feeling your oats. But like, what was it? Carrie says, Lisette is to show generational repetition of Carrie's archetype. Yeah, makes sense. And I'm sure Lisette will solve the big ring problem. But Carrie, this is funny. But Carrie has two rings. She has her and Big's. What is there to solve the problem? Oh, you think Lisette is going to unite the two rings and make a big chunky one out of the two? Maybe. Hello, Marta Davinelli. Hello, sweetie darling. Maybe. Oh, Night Air says, the neighbors, Seema and Carrie, will go manhunting together. Well, and just like that, the episode is over. We touched base on everything. Now, the question that remains is, when will all of this become... I feel like episode 9 has finally brought all the girls together, minus Che, okay, because Che wasn't in that charity scene, but the 6 girls together, and now we're finally getting used to them. Like, we don't have to justify and explain their entering into the lives of Carrie, Miranda, and Charlotte. So now that all of this work has been done, I'm thinking now finally we, the audience, have learned the names of the new characters, have accepted, more or less, the fact that these new characters are in the lives of our OG main 3 characters. Now the doors are open to really have fun with them. Now we don't have to spend too much time anymore justifying and building up that moment to when it is like taken for granted that they are together, that they are all friends. Like it's an earned moment. They have earned it. Okay. We now can more or less accept the fact that they're all friends. So now that they are all friends, let's get them to interact more with each other. Let's get them to have more fun. Which is something that I think is definitely an option, and it's probably going to happen if we ever do get a season 2. And I think a season 2 would be a great thing if it did happen, because, as I said, finally we can get into these 6 characters plus Che, and we can get to have them enjoy life together, Carrie Bradshaw says, it shall be fabulous, we wonder. And I couldn't help but wonder, would it be fabulous and just like that? We don't know. Interesting thing though, and as I'm filming this review on a Saturday, the HBO YouTube channel has not yet posted the Writers Podcast episode, which they always do right after the episode airs. For some reason, they skipped this week. Maybe they posted it later. Maybe they posted it now as I'm filming. But I usually watch the Writers Podcast. It didn't happen this week, or at least not after they published the episode, after they posted or after they aired the episode. So I do not know really if They even shot the podcast? Why? Did they have some beef? Did something happen that they're like not allowed to talk about? Or did they film something during the podcast that they realized later, oh, we can't say this, so they didn't air the podcast? Weird. But HBO has just posted the teaser for next week. Ooh, Carrie. I'm going to watch. I haven't seen it yet. They just posted it now? Also, we have a lot of scenes that were cut off from the episode 10. Yeah, Asia, I know. But we're going to talk about episode 10 next week. So the last episode, you guys, is airing next week. And just like that, was over. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to sharing this time with you again next week. And we get to talk one last time about season 1 of And Just Like That. This has been such a wonderful roller coaster ride for me, such a journey for us to kind of bond together, come together, talk about this together, throw the shade, throw the laughs, throw the tears. Oh, did I enjoy this episode? Yes, I did. I really did. I know there's a lot of cringe moments in it, but that's what Sex and the City is all about. I find it awkwardly relatable. Oh, Nikki, you saw the Writer podcast yesterday? I just checked today before I began the live stream, and it wasn't there. I saw the Writers podcast from last week. I didn't see the one from this week. I saw the Writers podcast episode 8. I didn't see episode 9. But if episode 9 is out, I'm excited to watch it later. Asia says, yeah, it doesn't seem like an ending at all. Not excited about episode 10. I mean, I'm excited about episode 10 just in regards to potential season 2. You don't call all of these people together and pay them millions of dollars to just do 10 episodes. You don't. You already plan ahead. You already have at least 20 episodes in the can. For sure. It's too big of a project to just drop it off after one. I'm sure. But that's why they need a cliffhanger at the end of at the end of season 1. I mean, whatever. You know what I mean? Madame says, I would love for you to review Emily in Paris. It is so cringy and bad. It would be hilarious for you to read Emily. I mean, if enough people want it, I could consider. To the 9Z says, it's also on the Apple Podcast app. It was not there for me either, says Sobi. You also didn't see it. You see? It's bizarre. Huh. Oh, thank you. Totally Off says, I love these videos going over the episodes. I'm loving it just like that because I'm such a huge Sex and the City fan. I really want them to do more seasons. Me too. I'm enjoying this show a lot. As cringe as it is, it keeps me glued to the screen. And quite frankly, I'm always sad when it's over because I always feel like it always leaves you wanting more. It leaves me, because the episodes are like super short. They're like not even 30 minutes long, you guys, really short. So at the end of every episode, you're like, the episode could have been longer. And that's a good feeling. Like when I have that feeling about a show, that's a good sign. And think about it, like look at all the stuff that happened in episode 9 and they managed to compress all of that in only 30 minutes. Yeah, it's chaotic, but that's talent too, right? Carrie Bradshaw says, let's go to Paris. I would love to. Coco Kitty says, yes, review Emily in Paris. Love Emily in Paris. Johnny says, yes to Emily in Paris. Huh. Carrie Bradshaw says, and just like that, we were all glued by cringe. Oh, yes, we are. Tyler says, I'd love for season 2 to have 45-minute episodes. Yeah, I would love that too. I would love to see longer episodes. I mean, it's HBO Max, but it's HBO. Give us 50-minute episodes. Come on. Carrie Bradshaw says, compression shorts for TV. Asia A says, it's Rock's They Mitzvah next week. Oh, it's They... Really? They Mitzvah? That is so funny. I wonder if they are short due to re-editing to cut out big flashbacks and to react to fan criticism. Nothing would surprise me anymore. I'm sure that they're like hysterically, desperately trying to make everything work. And so they're like, oh my God, last week's episode had these issues. Let's try to fix that in next week's episode. Let's go back to the editing table and try to re-edit something. But that also requires a budget. I don't know if they had that budget. Yeah, Alina says, now I need to watch the episode. I thought the episodes were about 40 minutes. Well, Ariel, they are no, they're not. No, they're not. They're under 30 minutes, actually. 30 minutes. Um, Just Yapping says, I'm liking them too. Oh, Aiden. Is Aiden coming back? I haven't seen the teaser for episode 10. Game of Bank Accounts, says Carrie Bradshaw. Totally. Not Game of Thrones anymore. Has it been picked up for season 2? What else can we get done in 20 minutes? Anthony is the best. Can we get a season 2? Are we going to get a season 2? Well, that's a topic for the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, well, thumb up this video, subscribe to my channel, and never forget to never give up on love. And just like that, this review was over. Bye.